Hi and welcome back. So just to go through the answers to the type 2 exercises, and I've tried to, as best I can, illustrate some of the movements with these so that you can see how I've reached the answer that is the correct one. So looking at exercise 33, you can see the correct answer is C. In this example, the triangles are rotating from top to bottom. But there's also a change in the movement of the circles, which are zigzagging up and down, and the location of the black triangle, which is moving top, middle, bottom, middle, so we're expecting top. So just working your way through each of those movements gives you C. In exercise 34, the correct answer is B, and what we have here is the colour rotating clockwise. And then there's kind of like an extended switch over with the objects because two objects are coming in and two of them are moving out as we move along. You've also got the when I say the colour rotating clockwise, that includes the striped objects as well. So that gives you answer B. In number 35, we've got, again, the objects are behaving differently. The circles are quite easy to follow. You're going clockwise around the square, going from black to white to black to white. The behaviour of the black squares is much more difficult because to understand that behaviour, between 1 and 3 it goes one place forward, between 2 and 4 it goes one place back. So that means that going from 3 to 5, it's going to move one square forward from where the position it is in square number 3. So that's a tricky one, and that leaves you with answer C. Number 36. Again, this is different objects behaving differently. Each time around, I'm going to have to call it a benzene ring because it is. As your circle moves round 2 places round the benzene ring in the clockwise direction, the triangle moves in an anti-clockwise direction, but it moves 1, 2, 3 and 4 places. So that gives you with both B and D as being possibilities. This is where it gets a bit tricky because you've got to spot that the triangle is pointing towards the corner, as I've illustrated to make it D. In number 37 is probably one of the trickiest ones in this set of questions actually. This is, you've got to imagine a pendulum now being attached to the square, which is what I've tried to illustrate. So in the first swing, so if going from number 1 to number 2, it's going 45 degrees to the left, so that's the red angle shown on the diagram. In the next swing, it's going 90 degrees to the right. In the next swing, it's going 135 degrees to the left, and in the final swing, it's swinging 180 degrees to the right. That's the yellow swing there. That could leave us with object B or D in terms of the position of the black line. And what I did notice is that that little square is never on an angle. There's no reason for that little square to be on a tilt. So I've gone for B, and I actually just totally ignored the dot. The next one, 38, it's to try and put illustrations on this. There are so many things that you could say. Watching the lines moving around, watching the little tags pointing up or downwards. The little tags always point towards the diamond. So there's lots of ways of getting there, but the answer is B. Now I've done this one in a bit of a novel way because the way that the numbers progress means that the left-hand domino always adds up to 10, and then the combination of the bottoms always adds up to 9, and that can only be B. That's the quick. Sometimes you find the domino ones, there are lots of different numerical ways of answering them, but I find summing sections of dominoes together usually works quite well for me. You get but effectively it's working out the consistency in the pattern there. Practice exercise 40. This is to do with regions of space. The first one has 1, the second one has the red one and the blue one, the third one has red, blue, yellow, the fourth one has red, blue, yellow, green, and the number of dots simply refers to the number of right angles. So the correct answer needs to have, it needs to move up to 5 sections, and it needs to have, for those 5 sections, 4 right angles. So it's the 4 right angles is just to match with the 5 sections. So C is the only object that actually has the right number of sections and the right number of circles to match the number of right angles that you can see. Question 41 is basically, if you just imagine each of those objects is a piece of card cut out, and you are just moving those cards from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom. So the circle goes to the bottom first, then the triangle goes to the bottom, then the pentagon goes to the bottom, then the heart goes to the bottom. And what can you see? So you've got to work out the order of the objects. Now, when the heart goes to the bottom, we've got the rectangle left that has been underneath up until this point. You can't see the circle because it's behind the rectangle before you get to the triangle. So it's B. 42. These are two arrows which are changing angle slightly differently to each other. So the white angle is going 0, then 45, then 90, then 135. Whereas the black arrow is going 45, 90, 135, 180. So that's meaning the answer is B. In 43, we've got the line is rotating 135 degrees each time, which means that it can only be C or D. And then the circle is moving around the square. It's moving around the edge clockwise, and it's moving 3 places from 1 to 2, 2 places from 2 to 3, 1 place from 3 to 4, and therefore in the next one it's not going to move at all. So that gets us to the correct answer, D, without needing to think about the square. 44. Now this is doing it's extending, then it's rotating and extending, then it's extending, then it's rotating and extending. So that's where it gets to D as the correct answer. This 45 had me flummoxed for a bit until I realised the squiggle was important. I tried ignoring the squiggle to begin with, thinking that the squiggle was just a distractor. But actually it's plotting a graph. So the dots represent the coordinates of each point on the squiggle, which means the correct answer is B. This one is a transformation one. So depending on which dot is coloured tells you what to do to the object. So the arrow is indicating that it's some kind of transformation, and going from the top to the bottom, if it's the first dot, it's got to change size. If it's the second dot, it's got to change colour. So that means that for the second one, it's got to change, because both dots are coloured, it's got to change both colour and size. And then the third dot means change shape. So that means for the third one, it's got to change both the size, the colour and the shape. And then the final one, it's got to change the colour and the shape. So it goes from black to a circle, but it doesn't change size. The numbers of dots are going 1, 2, 3, 2. So we're going to expect the last one to be 1, which means it's just got to change shape. So we've got to have we've got to keep the size and the colour the same and change the shape. So it's going to go from a circle to a square, but the size and the colour will be the same. So the answer is C. 47, we're just removing, quite a nice easy one here, just removing a circle as we're going around clockwise around the edge of the shape. And another easy one in 48, removing each star that is 4 places along. And a fairly straightforward one in 49, we are simply swapping. So in the first instance, we're swapping the top 2, then we're swapping the next 2. So first place we're swapping the 2 circles, so nothing changes. Then we're swapping the circle and the square on the top, so nothing. So then we get the. Tell you what, if I'd actually drawn an arrow here, this would make more sense. So we're doing that one first, then we're doing the next one along, which is on the top, then on the side, then on the bottom. So our answer is D. 50 is just about taking the little bit and magnifying it. So you can see I've got a little trapezium magnified, then a little semicircle magnified, then a little rectangle magnified. So my last one needs to be a little bit of arrow magnified, which I've illustrated there in yellow. So the correct answer is B. And then with this one, the black dot is moving 2, 4, 6 places. So the one that's missing is the black dot moving 8 places from its original location. The white dot is moving 0, 2, 4. So it's going to move 6 places from its original location. So it's just about drawing a black dot 8 places from the starting point and a grey dot. I said a white dot, I meant a grey dot. Let me just try to make that better. Grey dot. The grey dot moves 0, 2, 4 and 6 places. Last question of this type before type 3 questions is just another domino question. And this is just about diagonals. So as we go through the diagonals, you can see that we go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 6. So our next is going to be 5 and 4. So that means it could be C or D. And then if you think about the other direction, we get 1, 3, 5, 0, 2, 4, 6. 1, 3, 5, 0, 2, 4, 6. So the numbers that I need there are 3 and 5. Making the answer C. So we'll stop there for now, and next time we'll have a look at some type 3 practice questions. You could, if you wanted to, you've got this questions now, so you could have a look ahead at the type 3 questions, decide if you need to watch the video, but I will make another video with type 3 and type 4 shortly.